We're approaching Star Wars. You bubble-headed booby. That's the wrong robot. We're not here to talk about Lost in Space. Freeze, creep. Thank you for your cooperation. It's
That's
not
a
RoboCop either. Oh. You're terminated. I'll be back. Is that guy?
No, the Star Wars, you know. Beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, 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 boop.
Oh, beep boop, beep boop. Yes, we're here to talk about beep boop, beep boop, and pee pee poo poo. Was that his name?
C-3PO? Is that the one we're talking about?
That's the one.
Wow, all your hints brought me right to that conclusion. They were excellent, on point impersonations of robots.
We like robots.
The British one was good. The Jonathan Harris was fantastic. It sounds just like him.
But speaking of Jonathan Harris, he would have relished the role of playing C-3PO, and sadly he got to play Lucifer on Battlestar Galactica, the evil C-3PO.
Hey, don't sell him short. He was also on oh my God, Space Academy. So
Space Academy, yep.
I forget that really wacky hairdo that 80s do. So
it's interesting, and it's interesting because I was going because I mean clearly I'm not familiar with him, with the work. So I looked him up on I looked up Anthony Daniels on after reading the article he was talking about he's an actor, and I guess he must have been a British stage actor or something, because when you look him up on IMDb, you got to go a long ways to find him, having done anything but C-3PO.
Right.
But did you know that he did so I thought, well, we're gonna go before go back before the Star Wars stuff and see where what he was doing in 75, 76 and that, but did some British TV, and then of course Star Wars in 77, and then he was on the Donnie Marie show, played C-3PO on that.
Yeah.
But he did the voice of Legolas, Lord of the Rings, for the animated show that came on in 78.
Oh, he did in Ralph Bakshi. Wow. Okay.
Yep.
You just blew Rich's mind. That was fantastic.
I always loved that.
Digging into history.
I did not know that he did the voice in that.
Yeah, I didn't either. I mean, like I said, I mean,
I don't think I knew he did anything but C-3PO. That was about all anybody ever knew him from.
Well, it's some other television shows that they're coming up here that I'm not familiar with. The Country Diary of Somebody or Other, the Edison Twins.
These are
but a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff he did. Played C-3PO. But then in the mid 80s, okay, you got 3 Up, 2 Down TV series. He did one episode there. TV series Singles, he did an episode. Played a guy named Jeremy.
He did The Bill. The Bill was a great kind of crime drama on the BBC.
The Bill,
really awesome.
Yeah, one episode there. The Prime Suspect. He played as pathologist. So he's done some other stuff, but like I said, I mean, he wasn't an actor that you immediately see him and go, oh, that's that guy. Not like the guy who plays Hellboy, or the guy who plays Beauty and the Beast or something like that. Outside of the makeup,
he's dressed in a plastic robot outfit for most of his
right. I mean, outside of the tin can, I mean, the C-3PO, you can't, to get him out of the can, he could walk down the street, and
nobody would know,
and pretty much do that unmolested, because it's like, hey, I mean, nobody would go, whoa, hey, that's C-3PO walking over there,
Well, it's funny they talk about in this article, when they interview him, of course, it's just before Return of the Jedi is coming out, and of course he's not dropping any hints as to what happens, and probably Return of the Jedi is where his biggest moment, right? Because he becomes the king of the Ewoks or the god of the Ewoks and stuff like that.
That was Return of the Jedi.
That was Return of the Jedi. I mean, he's great, but he talks about how he's sort of considered it a curse to a certain degree, getting this role because he was a theater actor and he didn't want to be associated, like you said, Max. He didn't want to be associated with Star Wars, but then he kind of says, like you also pointed out, that he's like, well, I guess because I'm under all this all this makeup and in this outfit, people don't really recognize me. So I have the luxury of being in one of the greatest blockbusters of all time, but people aren't swamping me. But at the same time, I'm wondering if he's sort of like, oh, I kind of wish people would come and ask me for my autograph like they do Mark
Oh, we'll
Hamill
talk about that shortly.
or what's it called? But he seems kind of a little bit, and I guess I think he has a reputation of being that way a little, because he is a British theater actor, that he's got a little snootiness about him to a certain degree. And I can imagine, being approached to play like, by George, you want me to play what? A golden robot? I played Shakespeare on the stage.
So
No, I don't know whether I should trust a strange computer or not. Like
he did a visit where you could go meet him at the very popular Chiller Theater that comes out every year here in New Jersey, which is about an hour north of me. And I took my daughter when she was very young, and I forgot which Star Wars film had just come out, but they had a lot of the minor actors that were playing, like Jedi in the background in the fight scenes. I forget where they're riding around the arena, and they were all very, very humble people. They were very nice, so happy to sign autographs, take pictures. And most of them were hard to recognize because they were full of makeup anyway. He had a line for people to come up, and we got in line, and people are excited to see him. Nobody was acting out. Nobody was acting out. Nobody was being rude or anything like that. And he looks very fragile because he's so small and thin, if you really think about it, fit in that outfit. And we were in line, and you pay to get his autograph and take a picture. And I remember I'm sure it was a lot of pressure, but he kind of stopped everyone, put his hand out, brought security over, was like, these people need to move back. They're too close to me. I'm like, they were 10 feet away in line, coming up one at a time. And he was I get it. Adam West was always a little standoffish because he probably got tired of being called Batman all the time. But I got to be honest with you, I was so turned off. I left the line. I'm like, the heck with this. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. There's so many people that are so nice and so humble. And then you got this guy. And listen, I'm sure he didn't want to be bowled over. He was not a big dude, but come on.
Well, maybe because a friend of mine had an opportunity to escort and forgive me because I don't know his name. You guys will, but the guy who played Chewbacca.
Oh, Peter Mayhew.
Peter Mayhew.
Yeah, he was a super nice guy.
Super. That was what he said too. He said the guy was an awesome guy. And again, another character that if you see him out of the Chewbacca, which is, by the way, my favorite Star Trek character.
Wait, did you say your Star Trek character?
Yes, Chewbacca's my favorite Star Trek character. Yeah. So, and he's a really nice guy too, and the guy who plays him. But again, you take him out of the costume or out of the makeup, and another guy walk down the street.
Well, I think I don't know if it was the same conference, but when I went, he also went to Chiller Theater, and Chiller Theater was basically held in a hotel. And you'd walk around, they'd have a big room, and some of the bigger celebrities like Linda Blair, they always had a line, and you could recognize her a mile away. And she was very kind. A lot of Julie Newmar, Adam West. Adam West was always a little standoffish, but I get it. Yeah. Peter Mayhew was sitting at a card table. As you came up the stairs and walked along the hallway, they put him at a card table. Literally a card table. He's sitting there with a little fisherman cap on. He's very tall and lanky kind of guy. And there was nobody at his table because there was a whole Lost in Space crowd, if I remember. All these people were going to see the Lost in Space crew. And again, Amanda was very young. I think she was 5 or 6. And I walked up and I'm like, Mr. Mayhew? He's like, yeah, Peter. Very nice guy. And talked to him. Very humble, super nice. I think he was a hospital orderly. That was like his job before. And just very, very nice. And to see that, and to see somebody who's so famous or plays a character that's so famous, eventually you get to know who he is, right? Because they'll take his picture. But to see him humble and so kind, you sign anything you want, very pleasant, quiet and shy, I have to say that. And then to see Anthony Daniels was like, I don't know how big he is, but he weighed like a whole 47 pounds wet, I think. Very, very small dude and or skinny dude. And it was interesting. It was interesting to say the least. But did you ever see they talked about when they were filming Star Wars and they had him out in the desert and that outfit, it was plastic. And they were talking about it was so hot out there. Like the plastic was like starting to melt some days. It was so hot. I'm like, I don't know how he did that. So you got to give him credit because he sat out in a plastic tin can for a while.
Well, and the thing was, one of the other things that was in the article was how long it took him to walk with the C-3PO because that thing moved so slow.
Oh yeah.
So it would
Oh
take
yeah.
a really long time. And he said, yeah, he admitted that he was starting to get a little crabby at times. Making the
Oh yeah. I
movie.
can imagine. I can imagine. He had to like walk like a penguin almost to get from A to B.
Well,
Yeah,
and what I always found kind of interesting that he talks about in the article, how he sort of, he goes back and forth about wanting to be associated with Star Wars. Excuse me. And of course, that's all we associate him with. And his character and R2D2 are the only two characters to appear in every single Star Wars movie.
Was
From
he
the
in every single one? Was he in every? Was him all the time? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
He's
thought
I
so.
don't know
Okay.
if he's in the if it's just his voice. Or, I think C3PO is what CGI now, right? For the most part, like
Yeah.
it's like
Right. Sure.
they
Sure.
they probably don't even put him in a costume anymore. But he's in them all, and their characters are Lucas whatever wanted their characters to be throughout the whole thing. And Star Wars is based on a Kurosawa film called The Hidden Fortress. And there are two characters in The Hidden Fortress that keep getting wrapped up in all this stuff. They're these roguish peasant type guys. And they actually say that line, I believe, close to like what C3PO says to R2D2, where it goes, it seems our lot in life is to suffer. It seems to be our lot in life is to suffer. And they're also supposed to kind of be like Laurel and Hardy, like that type of thing, like the comedic
Yes.
relief
right.
throughout the film as well. But
Look,
it's kind of
Laurel and
interesting.
Hardy in tin can suits or something. I think.
No, that's he not to knock him. My experience with him is probably not everyone's, and I'm sure he's had his days when he was probably more pleasant or not. But I remember if you got a line like that, I can understand you want under control, but just always a little. I thought it was a little rude, especially he has that very rich English accent. He's very well spoken. He's very theatrical, if you will. A little bit like that guy from Lost in Space. What's his name, Rich? What's that guy's name?
No, you bubble-headed booby.
That guy.
Why don't
Yeah, that
you go
guy.
back to your toy room of solitude? No, the
He would have been a
pain,
great
pain.
C-3PO, I have to say. He would have been
No,
fantastic. I would have liked him as
I,
C-3PO.
I simply cannot disengage the tractor beam. My back is a mess.
Yeah, the movie would have been different if it had been the Dr. Smith-esque type character in that C-3PO suit, right?
Or they should just put Dr. Smith in instead of C-3PO, and they should have put the robot from Lost in Space instead of R2-D2. That would have been a
Right.
hell of a Star Wars.
Yeah,
That's one of my favorite robots, is the robot from Lost in Space. Warning, warning.
The best.
Danger, Will Robinson.
but you're talking
fine.
the classic one, right? From the
Oh yeah, not the new shit.
not the new one,
No,
not the
new shit.
Netflix one.
I haven't seen the Netflix series. I've seen
Yeah,
the film.
don't discourage, don't disappoint yourself. The old one's so much better. I mean, even the idea that the design behind the robot's fantastic. The globe head and all. I don't even know what they. Is that actually glass or plastic for that thing? But very, very cool. Very, very cool. I mean it's
And he's such a recognizable, and that's the only thing you know him from. I mean, not like Robbie the robot, which has been in a bunch of different stuff.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I think Robbie was on an episode of Lost in Space too.
Robbie was also in an episode of Columbo.
Yep, that's.
Oh, yes, I did.
You did not bring up Columbo. Max loves to slip in Columbo.
Yes, I did.
Anthony Daniels' cousins.
One more thing.
Uncle watched Columbo once.
Was Anthony Daniels on an episode of Columbo?
Not that I know of.
And I think they call the kid in that episode is they call him the Steven Spielberg, because it was an inside joke to Steven Spielberg. He's like the whiz kid Steven Spielberg, because Spielberg used to hang around the Universal lot. And I believe it's what? Oh, I think we're having a big tie. Is Jose Ferreira that's the killer on that one?
He's
blind guy.
Huh?
What's that?
Is that the blind guy that sings Feliz Navidad?
No.
I'm just mixing shit in all over the place.
Yeah, you're mixing stuff in there, all right.
Which reminds me about Chico and the Man. No, I'm just kidding.
Which, hold on. Jose Ferreira's the father of Miguel Ferreira, who is in RoboCop. And now we brought it all together.
All the way back to robots. See that?
That's
How about
fantastic.
that?
Wow.
They always talk about that. What is it? The 7 something to Kevin Bacon,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
6
Well,
degrees of Kevin Bacon.
we're working on like 5 to Columbo.
That's true. But if your last name's Bacon, you can pretty much associate anything because everybody likes bacon, I think.
That's right.
Even
Well, there was
vegetarians like
so
bacon.
many cool guest stars on Columbo, and there were even, you know, there were even like secondary guest stars, like the
Right.
episode, like Vincent Price was like a red herring on that episode one time. I think
What?
with the makeup magnet or whoever that gets murdered.
Yep.
They should have
And
put C-3PO in that. That would have been great.
well, why wasn't Vincent Price C-3PO? I would have made a perfect
Can you
C-3PO.
imagine
George Lucas didn't call
Rice
me. I would have
C-3PO?
been wonderful.
Oh my God. He would have had to have a mustache on the robot. Like he'd have to have that pencil thin mustache on the outside of the robot mask.
That's written into all my contracts. I will not shave my mustache. The only time I did was when I was Dr. Phoebes. Phoebes. I don't know how you pronounce it. Don't ask me. I just act in this Trek. But I was a skull
Yeah.
face. And then I wore a mask of myself over the skull face.
Oh my God.
No robots in that film. Oh, there were the TikTok band. They sort of play. They were more of like a little music box type thing.
Well,
Aren't
they
music
can't say they
boxes
didn't have
robots?
to-
I'm sorry, we've gone off on a tangent, ladies and gentlemen. What is going
Right.
on?
They can't say we
Gee,
didn't have
that's so unlike us. I mean, we're usually right on focus,
Every-
right on track all the way, like scripted or something.
Yeah,
I
it's a
mean, but
pinpoint all the
yeah,
way.
we slipped down a wormhole here.
Can you scream
Sorry,
con
folks, if
so
you're
we can link it to
listening.
the Can you scream con so we can link it to the last episode?
God!
Well, any final comments before we overrun our time and get killed for going
So
over?
what is the consensus? Nobody here likes Anthony Daniels?
I personally think he was rude, and I don't know him anything. I like C-3PO. I like what he
Right.
did with it, but as a person, I don't know. Maybe just caught him on a bad day, but he upset a lot of people. They were pissed.
Yeah, I
Now, for
always
me,
enjoy seeing C-3PO show up in the films.
yeah, and I got to be honest. I've never met him. I've never gone to the thing, but yeah, the C-3PO. I mean, important part of Star Wars. The face of I mean, could be arguably the face of Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
As much as any of the other characters, and I think he did a good job in it, and it's obviously an important character. And from the article that I was reading, he seemed like I mean, I guess how anybody would possibly be who was got aspirations of being an actor, and he kind of that paid the bills, and maybe he would have liked to do some other
That
things,
more than paid the bills, Max. That's
right?
been paying the bills for a while. They've been paying the bills for his great grandkids.
Oh yeah,
you go.
I mean
yeah.
he's still doing it, right? Did he appear in any of the TV series C-3PO? I haven't seen them all, but
Max said he was on the Donnie and Marie show.
I do remember. You know who else was on the Donnie and Marie show? And I don't know. Were we talking about him on or off mic? Chris Christopherson played the Han Solo role on the Donnie and Marie show.
Yeah, we said that.
Because it was Chris Christopherson. Red Fox was on that episode. He was the. It's a terrible show. You can find it online, and of course Paul Lind, my friend,
you big dummy.
Paul Lind, of course.
Yeah, Paul Lind. God.
Yeah, actually, Star Wars Forces of something or other TV series, 2 episodes as C-3PO. I mean, all the Lego movies.
Was he in the Incredible Hulk?
No.
I just wanted to bring that up because I wanted Rich to start talking about the Lonely Guy song or whatever it was.
Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
Hey, these are great cutouts. Where'd you get
My
them?
dad has a girlfriend that he didn't tell me about.
Poor
I
Rich.
thought my mom and dad would get back together,
Can't say Rich
but
said
they
no.
won't.
Could say he didn't have a heart.
Thanks, Dan.
I got these.
Did I just call you Dan? I don't know why I called you Dan.
I don't know why you called me Dan.
See, I have a traumatic childhood memory.
You should call me C-3PO. That's what I think you should call me from here on in. Wait, just one last question. Did anybody here dress up as C-3PO or Star Wars for Halloween as a kid? Anyone?
I bought a Boba Fett costume when I was well out of the age of fitting into Ben Cooper
That's all
costumes,
right. That's all right.
and
That's a good
it
costume.
came out before Empire Strikes Back. They released it. It must have been the season before because
What?
he had been on the Thanksgiving Christmas special
Okay.
in an animated version. I said, "Mom, I need to get this." She's like, "You're not going to fit into that." And I said, "No, I just want the mask because I want to make a Boba Fett costume. I'll wear the mask and I'll make
Did
the
you
bottom
make a
part."
Boba Fett costume?
I did not. I went out as the Wolfman that year.
Oh, that's classic. That's good. But you don't, do you have a C3PO costume, Rich?
I don't. The
Are you
only
looking
Star
for
Wars what I have a Stormtrooper mask and I
right?
have a Chewbacca costume, which is
So
actually pretty
if you
cool.
want to see more of Rich's stuff, you can go to Dr. Durant Sanctum on YouTube. And Rich has a whole bunch of stuff up there for his costumes and stuff. You should get a C3PO. I think now you are required to acquire a C3PO costume.
Yeah, I've fallen out of love with Star Wars collecting, like, thankfully, because there's so much to get. I'm
Oh my
sticking with
God,
some
Spaniels.
other stuff,
Do
but
you have a con costume by
I
chance?
don't. I wish they make one. They didn't make one.
They never made a con. Oh, I
They
thought they
made
made
they made
that.
a Kirk and Spock from Khan, but they did not make Ricardo
Wow, I
Montalban.
did not know that.
As a matter of
Well,
fact, I'll be doing some costume episodes coming up soon, the good Lord
for
willing,
Halloween.
for Halloween. So I've got
Yes.
tons of new stuff that came in this year, and so much stuff I haven't even showcased that I could do hundreds of episodes. There's so many cool things I want to showcase.
You should just do a million shorts on YouTube so you could do them all and get them all out there. You should do
Right.
the YouTube shorts and get them
There you
going.
go. And you can find all of that great stuff on Dr. Durant's Sanctum channel on YouTube.
Oh, Sanctum? I thought it was Sanitarium. Okay, Dr. Durant's Sanctum. Yes. You find Rich Hurley doing all kinds of videos and voices and what else do you like to do on there? Showboating,
Well,
C3PO costumes.
Showboating.
Yes.
That's what we like to do. Showboating. Yes.
No, the
I,
videos are
I think old man River.
I gotta. Yep, I'm waiting for Rich to do the C3PO goes to Donna's Donuts.
Or C3PO meets Vincent Price. C3PO meets Jonathan Harris. You should do all that stuff. You can play. You can do
It's all
most.
just
It can be awesome.
sort of like
You just put a mask
theatrical.
on and then flip it to the other side. Just have the camera go left and right. That would be awesome.
The other guy, I know we're going off on a tangent, but the other guy that would have made a great C3PO, of course, is Roddy McDowell. And
Oh yeah, he would have been
Oh yeah.
great.
Disney figured that out, and they used him in the Black Hole as the voice of Vincent.
Yes.
Vincent! It all comes full circle. You see what we're doing here? We're yes
We have
anding. It's perfect improv.
robots. Lots of robots. All kinds of robots.
We brought back Chris Christopherson, RoboCop,
Lost in
Columbo.
Space, Robbie the Robot, Black Hole,
Jose Ferrer. Who else could do this, right? And
Columbo.
go like 7 minutes
You
past
forgot
that.
one important one. How about Beretta? You forgot Beretta. You didn't add that into the list. Yeah.
No, and there's a reason. And there's a reason for that.
Or Chico and the Man, or yes, any of those things. Yes, that's true. So we should probably start signing off before we go too far into a tangent and overstay our welcome with the StarpodLog crew.
Well, I can't wait for the next one. This is always a lot of fun. I'm Max Overnighter. I don't have a cool YouTube channel, but you'll find me stalking all over Facebook. So if you see me, please stop by, say hey.
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel, but it's not cool either. So you can find me on the My Migo Like YouTube channel or on the Facebook group Migo Like, which we have a lot of discussion on many, many, many topics. And Max has the current Guinness Book of World Records for the most lives in 1 year.
And I'm Rich Hurley, also known as Dr. Durant. You can find me on YouTube as these two fine gentlemen noted. And I always live by the motto, let the Wookiee win.
All right, guys, we're going to go out of here. We're going to end this. And thank everybody for tuning in and have fun.
May the